Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Virtual Rangers program here at Big Basin Redwoods State Park. My name is Interpreter Sam. I'm an interpreter here at Big Basin this summer. And an interpreter is someone that helps the public understand a lot of the natural resources in the park. So I'm not an interpreter of languages, but I am an interpreter of some other things like sometimes I can hear the redwood trees speaking to me, or the banana slugs, or some other animals that we're going to talk about today. So that's what interpretation means when you're talking to someone who works at a state park. So again, thank you for joining me. And we're going to practice using the hand raise function. You probably used it before, but there's a little, I believe it's a yellow hand, which you can use to raise your hand. So don't do it quite yet. I'm going to ask you a question. If this is your first Junior Ranger program, I'd like you to raise your hand. Miranda, raise her hand. 3 people raise their hand. All right, so 3 people so far, 4 people, 5 people. It is their first Junior Ranger program. Congratulations and welcome. If you have done a Junior Rangers program before, raise your hand. 12 participants raise their hand. 14. Wow, lots of people. All right. So if you've been at a virtual Junior Rangers program before with the Santa Cruz district or any other parks in California, congratulations on joining us again and welcome to the newcomers. So this is a program for 7 to 12-year-olds. If you're, maybe not in that age range, you're still welcome to participate. But most of the content is geared towards 7 to 12-year-olds, but everyone's welcome. So let's get started with our program. And we're going to, if you have any questions during the program, I have someone behind the camera helping me, Interpreter Susan. So she'll read out the questions and we'll do our best to answer them. So let's get right into it. If you have ever been, we're going to practice another question. If you've ever been to Big Basin in person, not virtually, but in person, raise your hand. Who has been to Big Basin in person before? We've got 4 people raising their hands, 6, 7, all right, 8, nice, it's going up and up. If you have never been to Big Basin, but you want to come to Big Basin in person, raise your hand and see these wonderful, marvelous, giant redwood trees. All right, we got a lot of people raising their hands for that too. Now try putting your hands down. There's a put hands down function. Well, before Big Basin was named, before Big Basin was a state park, which is what it is now, this land was inhabited by people that have been native to this the Americas for a long time. So you're going to see a picture on your screen, and the tribes that lived here, the Native American tribes, included the Cotoni, Achistaka, Sayanti, and Kirosti tribes. And these were some of the groups that made up the Ohlone cultures of the Santa Cruz Mountains. So let's just take a brief moment to recognize that there were indigenous people here inhabiting this area, this region, and they have a connection to this land. And we want to appreciate the opportunities that we have to work, visit, and take care of this land. So just take a moment to appreciate the native peoples that used to live here and still do live here. Okay, so we're going to warm up with a quick song about our topic. Let me get my instrument, and you're going to see some lyrics on your screen. You can follow along. I'm absolutely positive that 99% of you know this song, so you can sing along at home. All right, so we're going to wait for those lyrics to get up on the screen, and then we're going to start our song. It's in the key of G, C, and D. If anybody wants to pick up their instrument and play at home. All right, ready? In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the quiet village, the lion sleeps tonight. Last verse. Hush, hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. A wee moe, 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 a wee moe. All right, like I said, many of you probably know that song. That's one of my favorite songs. And it has a very special animal that it's all about. And that is a lion. Yes. But we're not talking about lions that live in Africa or Asia. We're talking about lions that live in the mountains. Lions that live in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Mountain lions is the topic for today. And we're going to talk about why mountain lions don't make good pets. All right, so before we get right into the nitty-gritty, I'd like to start a poll question, just one question, and it has to do with the names of a mountain lion. So you can probably see the poll on your screen now. The question is, which one of these is also a name for a mountain lion? Which one of these is also a name for a mountain lion? So make sure to press submit your answer in there. I'm going to leave it open for another 20 seconds. The options are puma, cougar, panther, or all of the above. Which one of these is also a name for a mountain lion? All right, people are still putting their guesses in. 5 more seconds. All right, ending poll. And let's see what our options are. So 11 people voted for puma as another name for mountain lion. 10, very close, 10 people voted for cougar as another name for mountain lion. Panther, 7 people, 21%. And with the least votes, 6 people said all of the above. 18% of you think that all 3 of those names are names for mountain lions. And the 6 people that voted for all of the above are correct. Good job. So a mountain lion has many names, including puma, cougar, and panther. Can anybody in the comments think of another name for a mountain lion? I can think of many, many more names, and I'll read them to you. The mountain lion actually has the Guinness Book of World Records record for having the most amount of names for a mammal, for a wild land mammal. So a few more names. Has anybody said any names?
We have Big Cat and Bobcat.
Okay, Big Cat, that might be a name that is for a mountain lion that I haven't heard, but Bobcat is actually a different type of animal. So we'll show you what a Bobcat looks like later. But a mountain lion also has the name of catamount, interesting name, deer tiger, we'll get into that later, painter, screamer, screecher, and ghost cat. Those are just a few. Ooh, mysterious. Think of what a ghost cat might look like. So yeah, what do you think of when you hear some of those names? Painter, deer tiger, screamer, screecher, ghost cat? Those are some hints about some of the many important things that a mountain lion can do and does, and we're going to talk about that today. So before we, we're gonna start with a story. But right before we start with that story, we're going to, I'm going to give you a rhyme that you can remember whenever you're in the forest with friends, hiking around, or talking about mountain lions. And you're in the Santa Cruz Mountain or many places where they live. So this is the rhyme that you can remember. Even though mountain lions live here, you shouldn't fear. All right. So here and fear are the rhyming words. Even though mountain lions live here, you should not fear. And we'll talk about why you shouldn't be scared of mountain lions. Many people are, but it's not necessary if you are safe and you follow the right precautions and you know a little bit about them. So, story time. One time when I was in high school many years ago, I was in the car on a dark road outside of my friend's house. And there were no street lights on. So it was a very dark road, but the moon was shining. So you could still see a lot. It was a full moon that night. So very mysterious, very ominous. And as I was in my car, I was about to drive away. So I was about to turn on my car, but I heard something on the roof, a little pitter patter. And so I looked around and I turned around in my seat. And at the last moment, I saw a 3-foot long tail bounding away into the night. It looked like this tail was just floating into the air. And so my heart started racing. I was actually in the car with my friend. My heart was racing. Didn't know what to do. What did I just see? Was it just a hallucination, something that actually wasn't there? So we stayed in the car, just very scared for a little while. Finally, maybe about 15 minutes later, we drove away, right? And so we drove back towards my house. And on the way to my house, ahead of me, I see 3 police cars. And all of them have their lights on. They have their headlights pointed down at the street in front of them. And some of the police officers even have guns out. And so I think to myself, what's going on here? And in front of the cars where the headlights are pointed, I see a dead deer on the ground. And so the officers are looking into the woods behind the deer, trying to figure out, how the deer died. And you could probably guess what happened at this point. You can probably guess that the thing on my car, what do you think it was? Anybody have a guess? Want to say it in the Q&A or the comments? The thing that had the 3-foot long tail was, you guessed it, a mountain lion. And it was hunting. That mountain lion, about 15 minutes later, after we saw it, had caught a deer, and a neighbor had seen it, called it in, and scared it away from its meal, left the deer there, and the police officers were looking for it to try to relocate it to another place so that it wasn't harming anybody in that neighborhood. So if you have ever seen a mountain lion before, I'd love to let us know in the comments. You can raise your hand raise your hand if you've ever seen a mountain lion before. It's actually pretty rare to see a mountain lion. But even if you haven't seen a mountain lion has seen you. It looks like 4 people are raising their hands. 4 people here have seen mountain lions. All right, so what is special about a mountain lion? How do they differ from other cats? Well, on planet Earth, we have what we call big cats. Big cats are things like tigers, lions, leopards, cheetahs. Those are big cats, right? We know that they're big cats because of scientists have studied them. They have different structures in how their brain is, how their skeleton structure is. But we also have things like small cats. Small cats include bobcats. Somebody mentioned a bobcat, an ocelot, which is another type of smaller cat, and even house cats. So if you have a house cat at home, then your house cat would be considered a small cat. So do you think a mountain lion is a big cat or a small cat? If you think a mountain lion is a big cat, raise your hand. If you think a mountain lion is a big cat, raise your hand. 10, 13, 15. All right, 18, 20. Wow, a lot of you. Okay, 22. Let's say 22 people think that it's a big cat. Raise your hand if you think a mountain lion is considered. Actually, put your hands down first. Raise your hand if you think a mountain lion is considered a small cat. So 24 people think it's a big cat. How many people think it's a small cat? 3, 4, unsure. All right, 4 people. So again, the people who voted the least amount of times, the four of you are correct. Mountain lions are, in fact, small cats. So even though they are very big, they're small cats. They're actually the biggest small cat. That's a little bit confusing, but they are the biggest small cat. So let's compare mountain lions to another animal that we're very familiar with. Lions from Africa. We're going to do a little comparison between mountain lions and lions from Africa. So, which do you think is larger? Well, that's probably pretty easy. An African lion is a lot bigger than a mountain lion. Susan, can you show the picture of the difference between the size of a mountain lion and an African lion? It's a pretty big difference. So there's no question about which one is bigger. A mountain lion is about 2 to 3 feet high. So think about how tall you are and imagine where a mountain lion would be, where its head would be on your body. And they're also about up to 9 feet long. Whereas a African lion is about 3 to 5 feet high and can get up to 11 feet long. So I'm a little over 5 feet. And so an African lion would be all the way up to here. If I was standing up, it would be all the way up to here, the head of an African lion. So they're huge. Mountain lions, maybe about up to here, right? So that's a little bit of a size comparison. So let's take a look at the size of a real mountain lion. Before I started working here, I had never seen a real mountain lion, but you're in for a very special surprise. Let's look at a real mountain lion. Follow me over here. So before you get worried about how we got this mountain lion, it was acquired legally. Not originally. Someone actually had shot this mountain lion in an illegal way, and California Fish and Game found this mountain lion pelt. This is called a pelt, and took it away from the person that illegally hunted it. And California Fish and Game, which does a lot of management of wild things in this state, they donated this pelt to California State Parks. And so this pelt belongs to Henry Cowell State Park. And it's one of the most intact pelts that people have seen around here. So let's take a look at first the length, okay? From head to foot, that's how you can measure the length of most animals. Head to tail, right? If an animal has a tail, you measure it from the nose, which is the part that sticks out furthest, to the tail. So this puma was about 6.5, 7 feet long. So they can get a lot longer, but this is a smaller sized adult puma. So that's the length. And does anybody have a guess about why the tail is so long? This is about a 2.5 foot tail. Anybody have a guess about why the tail would be so long? What's important about a mountain lion or any animal that has a long tail? What does it help them do? Does anybody have a guess? What could a tail help a big animal do? Well, the tail that I saw...
Balance.
Balance. Very good. So someone guessed balance. Exactly. The tail that I saw on my car when I turned around and saw a mountain lion. So 3 people are saying balance. It's a very good guess. The tail was almost floating in the air. It was helping the mountain lion balance. So it helps them counteract all the weight that they have in their body by using their tail. So if a mountain lion quickly turns right, then their tail will be on the left side. If it quickly turns left, their tail will counteract on the left side. And another thing we can notice about this mountain lion is the color of the fur. Can anybody take a guess about why the mountain lion has this color? What could it help the mountain lion do in the wild? So it has many different shades, especially on the back, but it's generally one color.
Blend in.
Blend in. That is exactly right. So mountain lions need to blend in when they're hunting, and they can blend in with rocks, with brush, with trees and grasses that look similar to this color. So that is why mountain lions have this color. It's actually a similar color to deer, because deer also need to blend in, but it's not quite the same. All right, let's go take a seat again. And so difference number 1 is the size. So the size of a mountain lion is very different than the size of a regular lion. All right, difference number 2. You can really tell the difference between a male and a female African lion. Think of Mufasa. Sorry, there's a mosquito trying to bite me. Mufasa in The Lion King. What do you recognize the most about Mufasa? That is Simba's dad from the mountain lion. Anybody guess what you think of when you think of Mufasa, who was Simba's dad? What was the one defining feature of his body?
A big head.
Yeah, big
lots
head.
Of fur.
Lots of fur. So what do we call lots of fur? We call that a mane.
Mane, we have that word.
Yeah, someone knows.
He is a leader.
Look at my hair, right? Sort of like a mane. Dreadlocks, lots of hair surrounding my face. Do you think of, when you think of mountain lions, do you think of them having manes? Have you ever seen a mountain lion with a mane? No, you haven't, right? So unless you're a very skilled naturalist and you see a mountain lion in the wild, it's going to be very difficult to tell whether the mountain lion is a male or a female. So that's another difference, is that they don't have all this hair surrounding them. Did someone say something, Susan?
They are saying bigger, mane, he's a leader.
Yeah, good. So that's definitely, a big difference, is that they don't have all this hair surrounding them, even though they are lions. Difference number 3 between mountain lions and lions in Africa is that, well, we can make another Lion King reference. So when you think of the Lion King and you think of Simba and his father and all the people that surround Simba are his family, right? What is that called? When you have a group of African lions. Does anybody know? They talk about this a lot in the Lion King. A group of lions is called, it starts with a P. It's called a pride of lions, right? Different animals, when they're put together in groups, we have different names for them. So animals like lions that are in a group are called a pride of lions. What about a group of mountain lions? Is there a name for a group of mountain lions? In fact, there is no name for a group of mountain lions because they're solitary. They're solitary creatures. They don't travel in packs. They don't live together unless the mother is raising young. That's the only time that they'll live together. But apart from that, they are solitary creatures that spend most of their time alone, hunting and living. All right, so that's difference number 3. How about difference number 4? How they sound. So we're going to play a difference in a mountain lion making a sound versus a regular lion making a sound. So turn your ears on and let's take a look at what they sound like. First, the very classic sound of a regular lion. Whoa. That's intense, right? So regular lion, roar. What about a mountain lion? Think of some of the names of the mountain lion. Screamer and Screecher. Let's see if you hear any of that. Whoa, that sounds a little bit strange, right? I hope nobody that's walking around thinks that there's a mountain lion close by. So, yeah, mountain lion actually sounds sort of like a human sometimes, right? Regular lions have this deep roar that's very, very impressive. Mountain lions also have a very scary sound too. Sounds like sometimes a person screaming. And the difference between a mountain lion and a regular lion is that mountain lions don't have this special part of their throat that makes this sound, which lions do have. So that's one other big difference. All right. So we talked about some of the major differences between mountain lions and African lions, but let's focus more on mountain lions. Where do they live? Does anybody have an idea of where mountain lions live? So we're in Big Basin right now. They actually don't like to live in redwood tree areas so much because mountain lions like to perch on trees or rocks. And in redwood trees, they can't really climb those tall trees, right? Did someone have a comment?
The mountains.
Yeah, they live in the mountains.
Mountain
right?
again.
They live usually higher elevation. So in Big Basin, we're in a bowl, right? And if you go to the more elevated parts of the park, that's where you might see more mountain lions, where there's less redwood trees. So they love places that are rocky, places that have a lot of brush and grasses, stuff like that. Sometimes they go into cities, but they like to stay away from cities. They don't want to have problems with humans, and we don't really want to have problems with them either. So let's take a look at this picture that tells us where exactly they live. Mountain lions have the largest environment for a land animal, largest range of any wild land animal in the Americas. So all the way up into Canada, this is the red part, all the way down into South America, near the tip of South America. And even in a small part, if you look closely at that map of Florida, mountain lions, some of them live in this small tip of Florida. So it's a huge, huge range, most of South America and the west part of North America. All right. So some scientists have a hard time finding mountain lion tracks, right? But there are other ways to tell if a mountain lion lives in your area. So the first way, or one way that scientists use, is something called scat. Let's take a look at what scat is. Scat is mountain lion poop. Yep. So it's right there on your screen. That is mountain lion poop. And often scat has small pieces of undigested meat in the poop. It has a very strong odor. Does anybody have a comment about that? Someone say something? No? All right, so this is a picture of mountain lion scat. It is usually pretty large, and that's one way that scientists can tell if a mountain lion lives in that area. Another way that they can tell is if the area has a lot of, wet mud or snow, then they can actually tell if a mountain lion has a track. So let's take a look at a mountain lion track. Good. So that's what a puma print looks like. That is a puma print in what looks to be sand or some type of dirt. And the last way that they can tell if a mountain lion is in there, let's show the third picture, is if it leaves a certain type of mark. Claw marks. Look at those trees. So mountain lions will leave those marks, sometimes to sharpen their claws, sometimes to show or mark their territory, right? If you have a cat at home, then maybe your cat has a scratch post, and your cat does a similar thing to those mountain lions. And so that's one reason why mountain lions wouldn't make good pets, because they would need huge scratch posts, and they might, scratch something that you don't want them to scratch, and they would leave very big marks. So that's one reason why mountain lions don't make good pets. So let's look at the difference between a mountain lion track compared to that of another animal, two other animals. Let's take a look. Oh, we have a question first.
There's two questions. Somebody's asking, why is the scat so large?
Mm-hmm.
And someone else is, what about leaving fur behind? That sometimes as people can identify they've been around because of fur.
Right. So that might be another way to find if a mountain lion has been in the area. If, fur ball, or maybe their scratch part of themselves on a tree and it leaves them fur. So that's a good way to identify. And the scat is large because the cat is large. So if you think of a house cat poop, it's fairly small, and just enlarge that a little bit and you'll get mountain lion scat. So just because of the size of the animal leaves larger scat on the ground. So let's take a look at that picture comparing three different types of animal tracks. So on the left, you will see a puma, a cougar track, right? And on the right, you see a domestic dog. So maybe you have a dog at home, and a coyote. And so a cougar, what's something that you notice actually about the difference between a cougar track and a domestic dog or coyote track? Well, for one, cougars are felines. So they're related, but domestic dogs and coyotes are more related. They're canines, felines and canines. You've probably heard those words before. And does someone have a comment about the difference?
No claws.
No claws, right? So do cougars have claws? They do have claws, yes. But when they're walking around, they're able to retract those claws. And if you ever think about your dog walking on tile or wood floor, you can hear the pitter-patter of the sound of the dog walking. But if you hear your cat walking on that same floor, it's almost silent, right? So that's one of the major differences between felines and canines. All right. So they use their claws to catch prey. So you can take that picture down. And they have one main food source. This was in the name, one of the names that I read to you. What do you think their main food source is? Anyone have an idea about what is the main thing that a mountain lion eats?
Deer.
Deer is correct. So some studies have shown that a huge mountain lion could eat up to 50 deer in a year. That's about one deer per week, right? So that's a big mountain lion. That's the most that they can eat. And they have very, very special ways that they can use their biology to hunt these deer. So one of these ways, we talked about the ways in which their tracks show up. And because they have this special ability, they can retract their claw and then bring it out when they need to, right? So this is actually a real mountain lion claw. And imagine how sharp that was when a real mountain lion was using it. Pretty big and pretty impressive, right? So they have the ability to keep their claw in when they're walking and then retract it or bring it out when they're hunting. All right. Another special way that they can hunt, and let's take another look at something very special, is a mountain lion skull, right? This is not a real skull. It is a replica, but it is accurate in terms of showing us what it looks like. All right. So mountain lions, unlike canines, their noses here are flat. So their main sense for hunting is not smelling. Anybody have an idea what they use to hunt their prey, the main sense that they use? You're looking right at it. These two things right here, where my fingers are coming out of, they're eyes. They have an amazing sense of sight. So their sense of smell is good, but not the most important thing that they use when they're hunting. Another thing that they have along with their claw that's very sharp is their four huge teeth in front. So those teeth are meant for clamping down really, really hard onto their prey to hold on to it in a struggle, right? Look how big those teeth are. So those are some skills that the mountain lions use when they're hunting. The eyes, the teeth, and the claws. All right. So let's move on. Why do we need to protect mountain lions? Does anybody have a guess? Or does anybody think it's important to protect mountain lions? Raise your hand if you think it is important for us to protect mountain lions in this area. All right, 12 of you, 14, 15. A lot of you think that mountain lions should be protected. And I agree with you. They should. Mountain lion population right now is much lower than it's been in the past. And this is for a few reasons. One is that human population is growing up. And as the human population goes up, humans need places to live. So they build more and more areas to live. Yeah. Someone have a question or comment?
Really great comments about they're part of our ecosystem. They're endangered. So other species don't overpopulate.
Right. Okay. Very good. So you're thinking hard about the implications of what would happen if mountain lion species went down. So that's an important thing. We sometimes think that we need to save certain animals, but we don't know why. So it's important to look into the why of these animals and what makes them important. So the human population goes up, they need places to live, and so they build in what used to be mountain lion habitat. And this sort of restricts more and more the area of where mountain lions can live. And mountain lions need 13 times more area to live than a black bear and 40 times more area to live than a bobcat. So they're very territorial. They like to stay in one area and they like to keep it to themselves. So the more that's built up in humans where they live, human development, then the less space that mountain lions have to live. So mountain lions, someone said this, that other species, if a mountain lion population goes down, other species might, their population might be affected. That's true. And mountain lions are known as an umbrella species. So that means that they are at the top of the food chain and have a control over the species populations of things like deer, things like other smaller mammals that live there. So if mountain lions aren't eating deer, then the deer population will increase a lot. When the deer population increases, then the deer will eat lots and lots of vegetation, and that will interrupt the cycles that are super important in our ecosystem. Okay, so that's one reason why we need to protect them. Mountain lions actually used to be hunted for sport until the 1990s in California, and they're not hunted anymore, which is a good thing. Right now, California is determining whether the species could be endangered on a much bigger scale. So they have some protections right now while the government is deciding what the fate of the mountain lions will be in the future, how endangered they actually are, and what to do about it. So they do have some protections right now. So if you come to Big Basin Redwood State Park, do you think you should be scared of mountain lions? Do you think you should be scared of mountain lions? Anybody raising their hand? A few people. Good. We want to keep that number down. You should not be scared of mountain lions when you come to Big Basin Redwood State Park, but you should be cautious and you should know what to do if you see a mountain lion. Right? Let's talk about what you need to do. So if you're hiking, make sure to hike with a group of people, right? That is one way to stay safe when you're out hiking, not just for mountain lion's sake, but for just general safety precautions. You want to hike with friends. You don't usually want to hike alone unless you're very, very familiar with the area. And when you're hiking, think about what time of day you're going to go hiking. You don't want to hike at dusk or at dawn, when it's sort of dark. You don't want to hike during those times of the day because that's the time when mountain lions are out, right? If you do see a mountain lion, you should do a few things. One, most importantly, don't run away. You want to make yourself big and you want to make yourself loud, right? So you want to get any type of things that you can use to make sound, whether it's sticks, whether it's rocks, whether it's your water bottle, and scream at the mountain lion, right? And then back away slowly, right? You don't want to turn your back to the mountain lion. You don't want to run away. You want to make yourself big. You want to scream. If there's any small children on the ground, like your brother or sister, you want to hold them up, carry them with you, back away slowly. Okay. So that's a few things that you can do if you see a mountain lion. And, but most likely you'll see a mountain lion from a very far distance. You can watch it. It might be watching you, and then it runs away, and that should be the end of the story, right? So does anybody have any questions? We're at the end of our program. Does anybody have any questions about mountain lions? And I'll do my best to answer them.
There were some questions about what happened to the person who killed that mountain lion, if we know, the person who illegally killed it.
Yeah. So there are different types of punishments for people that kill mountain lions. Depends on exactly what they did. I don't know the exact story behind the person that hunted that mountain lion, but sometimes people have to pay fines. Sometimes people might go to jail, but I don't know the specific details around what happened with that individual.
Zahara wants to know, does a mountain lion use their tail to warn us of other animals?
No, I wouldn't say they use their tail to warn of other animals, but similar to a house cat, depending on what a mountain lion is doing with their tail, then sometimes you can figure something out about the mountain lion, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, right? So sometimes house cats put their tail up and sort of fluff their fur up when they are when they're scared or when they're in a specific type of mood. So you might be able to tell some things with mountain lions based on their tail.
Why do mountain lions come into cities?
Mountain lions come into cities because, sometimes their habitat is restricted. So there might not be enough food in their area. And so they're looking for any food that they can get. Sometimes they do hunt domestic smaller dogs and cats. So that might be one reason. Sometimes they're lost. There can be a few different reasons for why mountain lions wander into cities, but they don't prefer to be in cities. They would rather be in their own wild territory, but sometimes they have a lot of restrictions, and so they have to venture out to find more places to live.
How do mountain lions protect themselves?
Mountain lions protect themselves. Well, there's a few ways. We talked about, their incredible sight, so they can see, especially in the dark, when there's not a lot of light out. That's one of the main ways that they use to protect themselves. And they can use their claws. They're very, very agile. They can jump, probably 20 feet at a time. They can climb trees. They're very fast. So they have a lot of different ways that they can protect themselves that way.
And should we throw a rock at the mountain lion? And what is their most sensitive nerve so we can defend ourselves?
For the first question, if you want to throw a rock, well, yeah. If a mountain lion seems to be threatening you and it's at a very close distance, yeah, you could try throwing a rock. That might scare it away. If a mountain lion's far away and it's not bothering you, please don't throw a rock at it. But if you have to defend yourself, then that's something that you can do. The nerve question, I don't quite know the answer to, but
let's take one last one. Can they climb?
Can they climb? Yes, they can climb. They like to climb not redwood trees, but shorter trees where they can look around and see the prey. They also like to climb rocks. So yeah, they're very, very skilled climbers. All right. Thank you for all your questions, and congratulations on finishing this program. You are now a junior ranger if you weren't before. So let's do our junior ranger pledge. You're going to see a picture of the pledge on your screen. And please raise your right hand. I'm going to say the first part of the pledge, and Susan's going to repeat after me, and you can follow along with Susan, Interpreter Susan. All right. So here's the Junior Ranger pledge. I, Interpreter Sam, promise to.
I, Interpreter Susan, promise to.
Treat the earth and all living things with care and respect.
Treat the earth and all living things with care and respect.
Be thoughtful about what I do and how it affects others.
Be thoughtful about what I do and how it affects others.
And learn about the importance of nature and our heritage.
Learn about the importance of nature and our heritage.
Congratulations, you have finished this program. And for those of you that are between the ages of 7 and 12, you will now be receiving a Junior Rangers badge. And this is a digital badge or stamp, whatever you want to call it, that will be emailed to you. And the more badges that you get, the more prizes that you get. So in that email, it will tell you the specific number that you need to redeem your prizes. But if you continue to participate in these programs, then you will continue to get back. So you can do the statewide program, or you can do the Santa program. And the same link that you use to sign up for this program is the one that you can use for future programs. So again, thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again virtually for another Junior Rangers program. Bye, everyone. Take care.